Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Crowd Terror Podcast. You guys might have remembered, or you guys might remember this from a year ago, and this is the Bubble Watch videos that we used to do, that we did last year. We didn't keep up with this as much as I would have liked. I meant to do it more, but never really got around to it that much, and so. But this year I'm gonna try and be better with it, and so we're gonna get started with this video. We got a lot to do, obviously, because if you guys know the Bubble Watch stuff that we have on the on ESPN, if you ever look at that for college basketball, they have locks, they have should be in, and then they have work to do. Work to do is obviously the biggest one, but obviously, as I said, we're going to have a lot to do in this video. So we're just going to get this one started. And so we're just going to go right from the beginning. We start with the ACC. Now, this is the first locks should be in, work to do, bubble watch whole video. We're just going to get started with the locks part of this. I'll do locks first, and I'll do should be in, and then work to do. It's obviously going to be 3 different videos. So let's start with the first one, which is the ACC. Now, the ACC doesn't really have a ton of great teams, but they do have one good team, and that is Virginia. I think Virginia, no matter what they do at this point, this team has a loaded resume. They have a lot of good wins. There's not really, I think, any possible way Virginia does not make it to the tournament. I think they're easily in. Now, for the rest of the ACC, they all are. The rest of the ACC is kind of a mess, but Virginia has clearly been fantastic. They have a lot of good wins. They've proven themselves really above everybody else. So I think UVA, the Cavaliers can rest easy. They'll be in. Then you got the Big 12. Now the Big 12 this year has been absolutely phenomenal. They have been outstanding in this conference, and well, you have the usual suspect of Kansas finding their way into the tournament. They will easily be in, but so are their rival, who has had a oddly good season. The Kansas State Wildcats, I think, are another lock for the NCAA tournament. We also will have, I think, we'll also have Texas very comfortably in the NCAA tournament. As I said, there's going to be a lot of teams that are all locks from the Big 12. It is a loaded conference this year. Then you have still 2 more, in my opinion, as you have Iowa State. I do believe that they are an easy lock for the NCAA tournament. A lot of good wins for them. Of course, when you're in a conference like the Big 12, you get a ton of really nice wins. And then Baylor, I think, is also a lock from the Big 12. Yes, I know it's a weirder logo. It's the only one that this one has. I can't get it replaced. It's a really old one, I think. But all these teams I think are in. Kansas has got some really, really good wins. So does Kansas State. Texas has beaten Kansas State on the road. Kansas State, of course, beat Kansas. They also beat Baylor. But all these teams have all kinds of quad one wins. They have a lot of these teams even have some good non-conference wins. So I think all these teams have built pretty darn good resumes. I'm going from Kansas to being the the biggest, the best of them all, to Baylor being the least impressive. But I think all these teams will easily find themselves in the tournament when the selection show comes around. I don't think there's really much that any of them can do to knock themselves out of the NCAA tournament. I think they're all very comfortably going to be in. So now we go to the Big East, and there's a few locks from this conference, and we start with Xavier being the first team to lock themselves into the tournament. They have some really good wins. Big East has a couple heavy hitters this year, with Xavier leading the way. And the Marquette Golden Eagles, which if you just watched my top 25 video, they find themselves ranked at number 10. A pretty impressive start for Marquette. Well, it's Xavier, they're 13. But I think you'll also find Providence in the NCAA tournament. Providence has been absolutely unbelievable this season. What a year they have had. Um, So I have Providence making it. They should be well within the tournament. And that's it for the Big East. Now, the Big Ten, I think this one's pretty obvious. I think anybody would know who I'm about to put from the Big Ten in here, and that's Purdue. Purdue's been outstanding in the Big Ten. The Big Ten is kind of a mess because Purdue is clearly head and shoulders like one of the better team, the best team out of all of them. And then there's just kind of like a mess of teams fighting to make the tournament after that. But Purdue has been unbelievable. What a great season they have had. Purdue, a lot of good wins. Only a two-loss team this year. Very impressive what the Boilermakers have been able to do out in West Lafayette. They will obviously find themselves in the tournament. Pac 12 is not really special, but they do have two teams who I think will find themselves easily in the NCAA tournament, Arizona being one of them, and the other one being the usual suspect of UCLA. I think both of these teams will be in the NCAA tournament. They're obviously both very good teams. The rest of the Pac 12, I don't know about the rest of the Pac 12. The rest of the Pac 12 is a bit of a struggle bus. But UCLA is an outstanding team, and they will be in the tournament. And then you go to the SEC. I think the first team you're gonna find coming out of the SEC is Bama. They are absolutely unbelievable. Honestly, if you were to ask me right now who my pick for the title is, Bama's my pick to win the title right now. I think they are absolutely unbelievably talented. And the other lock that I have from the SEC is Tennessee. I'm not the biggest fan of the Volunteer team, but they do have the record, they do have the resume. So obviously, I do have the Volunteers also being a lock out of the SEC. And other than that, I really don't have anybody else coming out of the SEC as a lock right now. Then we go to just the miscellaneous crew, all the teams. I'm like, the non-Power 5 conferences who will find themselves easily within the tournament. And, well, you got the usual suspect now, Houston, who will be in the tournament. Only a two-loss team this year. A lot of nice non-conference wins, beating teams like Virginia. They did lose to Bama, so obviously that win for Alabama is absolutely enormous. But Houston has beaten Virginia. They've beaten some other good teams as well. So they actually beat St. Mary's, who is weirdly a really good team this year. And speaking of St. Mary's, that is actually the next lock, believe it or not, that I actually have in this video. St. Mary's is an undefeated team in the WCC. They have been unbelievably talent. They've been unbelievably good this year, and so and they just got a win over Gonzaga. They have a win over San Diego State. They have really good wins. They're undefeated in their conference. Obviously, they can fall into the should be in category, but right now they're a lock for the NCAA tournament. They would be in the tournament. Period. At this point in time. And still, same goes for Gonzaga. As much as they haven't been, they've had a couple, not great losses in the tournament. Or I'm sorry, not in the tournament, in conference play, losing at home to, was it not Santa Clara, Loyola Marymount, and now losing to St. Mary's, being a two-loss team in their conference, and St. Mary's easily leading the way for the division or for the conference championship. Gonzaga still has a lot of good non-conference wins, beating teams like Alabama, Xavier. They beat somebody else as well. They did lose to Texas. They've lost, of course, St. Mary's, but Gonzaga is a really good team, and I don't know if they're necessarily gonna go, to a national championship, but they have some solid players. I think they may have a Sweet 16 run in them or something like that. But Gonzaga, pretty solid team. They'll be in. So that's it for this video. We'll go on to, of course, the should be in category next, followed by All the other categories being the other category being the work to do one, which will obviously take the most amount of time. But that's it for the locks, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. So until next time, adios, everybody.